And right now at 6, we're tracking storms across central Indiana. This is one of the reasons that this is a weather impact alert day.
This hot and muggy weather isn't going anywhere soon, with temperatures expected to feel like the triple digits over the days to come.
Angela's tracking it all. So do we have any chance for severe weather tonight, Angela?
You know, Scott and Anne-Marie, we had a couple of warnings earlier today. Right now, no warnings, but I'm going to let you know these storms do contain very heavy rain that will lead to some flash flooding. Also some lightning and the potential for some stronger wind gusts. So just keep that in mind and be prepared to move those outside activities inside. Once you hear thunder, that becomes a threat. You can see the storms now from parts of Hamilton County north. So we will go north to show you this cluster of storms from Noblesville to about Sheridan into Kempton over toward Tipton, all moving east northeast. So if these would hold together in the path, Summitville, Alexandria, Anderson, Arcadia, Cicero, and Pendleton perhaps as well. Just know heavy rain and lots of lightning are the threats so far. We go south and we've been dealing with a slow-moving storm across the southern half of Decatur County, so flash flooding a real threat there. No watches or warnings, but we remain under that low threat of severe storms. Where we haven't had storms, still feeling like the triple digits in Bloomington and Bedford. So weather impact alert through the early evening because of the heat and the storms. Weather impact alert day tomorrow as high temperatures reach the low 90s with more storms possible.
All right, Angela, thanks so much. Today, Indianapolis EMS crews tell us that they're still staying really busy as this heat wave continues.
In fact, they tell us they've received dozens of calls for things like dehydration, heat exhaustion, heat stroke, and sunstroke. Crews responded to 12 of those calls yesterday, telling us it's actually normal to get just one call a day for these heat-related symptoms.
They tell us crews have responded to 41 calls total since last Friday.
And we want to remind you, you can get the latest on this heat wave by using our live Doppler 13 weather app. You can check the temperatures, get the hourly forecast right there on your phone anytime. We want to remind you it's a free download. You'll find it in your app store.
Tonight we're learning more about an audit ordered by Indiana Governor Mike Braun to look into how the Indiana Economic Development Corporation is doing business.
Our State House reporter Emily Longnecker attended the first meeting since the governor announced he was replacing the entire 9-member board. So Emily, what did we learn today?
Yeah, the new IEDC board members introduced themselves. Many of them are business owners like the governor, and Governor Braun said he chose many of them because they were the most entrepreneurial. We also heard from the consulting firm hired by the state to look at how the IEDC has done business over the past 2 years. The new board heard about the audit's parameters Wednesday. A representative from FTI Consulting explained the firm will examine IEDC operations between January 2022 and December 2024. Governor Braun ordered the audit earlier this year after he questioned how the IEDC had spent some of its funds trying to lure businesses to Indiana. The audit will take 6 to 12 months to complete. From it, FTI will make recommendations for changes, along with a findings report, including whether any state or federal money was used improperly.
So the audit's about the fact I ran on transparency, if you remember, and being accessible, and I'm going to do both of them. And when it comes to any component where you got to get to the bottom of it, I'm a big believer in it. So whatever it reveals, we'll get the recommendations. I think he mentioned words like remediation, advice, and we'll take it. You know, forensic makes it sound ominous. Hopefully it's just going to get to the bottom of things that maybe needed to be done differently. Whatever it is, we'll deal with it.
So could the audit's results impact thousands of acres of land in Boone County that the IEDC bought to develop a technology park known as the LEAP District? This year, the IEDC listed for sale 2 areas of land in that district. Governor Braun said they'll continue to work with Eli Lilly, which is already committed to the LEAP District and started construction.
But when it comes to companies like them, we're always going to want them to reinvest in Indiana. We're going to want to look to others like them. Of course, keeping the ones you've got is a lot easier than trying to lure the ones in you don't have.
That's where Governor Braun says a focus on small businesses is also important, helping more of them set up shop in Indiana. We also learned about 8 projects that the IEDC has approved offering incentive packages too. Some of those projects involve expanding businesses already here in Indiana. One of them is Roche Diagnostics. Other incentive packages are being offered to companies that would bring 4 new data centers here. It is estimated these projects would bring in close to 2,000 jobs and $4.5 billion in capital investments to 7 counties. So clearly the IEDC continuing its work while that consulting firm looks at how it's done work in the past. At the Indiana State House, Emily Longnecker, 13 News.
And now to a shakeup within the Indianapolis City County Council. All of this comes following that investigation into sexual harassment allegations against some members of Mayor Joe Hogsett's staff.
First, a counselor removed from a caucus, then a public apology from her. Marina Silva spent this day sorting it out and joins us live in studio. Marina.
Well, it started last night with the Democratic caucus voting to oust Counselor Krista Carlino from the caucus. Now, less than 24 hours later, she sent a letter explaining and apologizing for her actions. Last week, during administration and finance meeting, Counselor Carlino publicly called for the mayor's resignation and also for the resignations of the council president and vice president from their leadership roles. Then, during a caucus meeting last night, the Democratic caucus voted to remove her. The statement Counselor Carlino sent essentially apologizes for her words and her accusations. It says, "My colleagues on the council have lost faith in my leadership and are placing blame on me, and I accept that. I accept responsibility for not doing more. I could have worked harder to push the firm. I could have been more vocal sooner about my concerns over the scope. I could have stepped aside when my friend was fired. I didn't, and I should be held accountable." She also writes that she is stepping down from her committee assignments, but wants to remain on the caucus and the council. We asked another counselor what could happen. He told us she will likely be reinstated on the caucus.